Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Jays Sit Down podcast. I'm your host, Jade. I'm here with my boy, Jonathan Hooker, who is the host of the Sports Den podcast. We're going to be talking some NFL football. John, as we finally made it to the beginning of the 2025 NFL season, it starts tomorrow, man. I mean, dude, feels like a long off season, but thank you for coming on here, man, talking ball.
Of course, of course. I can come make some time for you, man.
Yeah, man, for real, for real. Yeah, so we're kicking off, man, with the Eagles and Cowboys tomorrow, man, jumping straight into it. So obviously we all know, what's been going on with Dallas the past, month or so with Michael Parsons. He finally gets traded to the Packers. So I want to talk to you about that real quick, man. First off, did you think they were actually going to trade him? And now that they did, I mean, what's your whole take on it for both? Who do you think won this trade, so to speak?
Okay. One, I think they were going to trade Micah at a point in time. Cause I just saw this take a couple days ago. They said Jerry Jones still lives in the 90s where they were great. And when in the 90s, who were the main three players that he cared about the most? Troy Aikman, quarterback, Emmitt Smith, running back,
Mhm.
Michael Irvin, wide receiver. Nobody on the defensive side. But as we come in time now that the players are more outspoken and the players want to make sure that they're getting paid and they're getting that guaranteed money that owners are reluctantly giving, I truly believe that Micah did the best thing for himself. Did I think they were going to trade him? No, because look how many times Dallas has had a contract dispute. CD
Yeah.
Lamb, Dak Prescott. And so this time, I was like, you got to pay Micah. Because in my sense, Dallas defense hangs their hat on Micah's pass rush. Because if Micah can get to the quarterback, that's pitched for Trayvon Diggs. That's pitched for Deron Bland, who just got paid over 90 mil.
Yeah.
So, so it's like, come on, you can't pay Micah, but you can pay Deron Bland. It's something that I don't like. But who won the trade? Oh, the Packers. If really want to look at it, the Packers, in my opinion, the Packers can win in NFC North. And I'm talking more than two games.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, man. I agree. I think the Packers definitely want to trade. You mean this is a team that people don't talk about, man. They already had a top defense last year. Guys like Xavier McKinney, Adrian Cooper, Quay Walker. I mean, all these guys, now their secondaries need some work, but overall, you bring a guy like Michael Parsons to that, man, to already that was a good pass rush, a good run defense, and they get even better along with an offense that, still Jordan Love's a great quarterback. He just has to work on those turnovers. But I think the Packers definitely can be a top contending team this year. Definitely can win the NFC North for sure. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me they trade him, but it does, but then again, it's Jerry Jones, man. So it's like, you know how it is. So yeah, man, I don't know.
Shout
It's
out to Jerry. That's all I can say. Shout out to Jerry Jones, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Jerry Jones. So we're gonna see, man, how that shapes up. And those teams will meet, I believe, week 4, the Packers and the Cowboys. So that should be interesting. But first off, man, our first game, like I mentioned, in the open, is Philadelphia and Dallas. Eagles coming off a Super Bowl win, of course. Before we kind of get into the game itself, man, just as an outlook for Philly this year, they lost some pieces in the offseason that was on their Super Bowl team. Do you think this team has potential to get back to the Super Bowl? I'm not even asking for winning, because that's hard to do, but just even getting back. Do you think this Philadelphia Eagles team can still make it back there?
100%. And I'll tell you why. The only team that gave them real trouble during the playoff run last year was the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah.
Because if Jalen Carter doesn't get that sack, who knows? But I say if you go look at the top contending teams for the NFC, you'll think the Falcons, they have the talent. They have to show it now. The
Yeah, they
Bucks,
show it. Yeah.
they have to show them defensively they can keep up because their offense is great, but can their defense keep up now? And then you go to the NFC North with the Vikings, new quarterback. The Packers, Jordan Love, like I said, Jordan Love and his turnover issues. and also their secondary. And you go to Lions, they lost key pieces in the cornerback room. They lost some guys on D line. And so for me, when you go to the Eagles, you can say, oh, they lost CJ Gardner Johnson. But in the draft, they drafted and plug and play guys with Andrew Mukuba, who come in and play. Then you had Quinyon Mitchell already on the outside. Yes, you traded away. Yeah, yes, you said Slay, we can't pay you that money. But hope you enjoy your time. You'll retire as a Philadelphia Eagle. But you have to pay the guys up front.
Yeah, you
Jalen,
have to.
you have to, because as we all know, if you watch football, the game is won in the trenches.
Yep.
So you have to pay guys like Jalen Carter. So when I go look at the Eagles roster from top to bottom, there's no there's no trio better than Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and AJ Brown. There's none. Because yes, you can list people that can compete, but when it matters, Jalen Hurts wins those games. So in the playoffs, Jalen Hurts is a top three quarterback that you want in the playoffs. So when I go look at that, the Eagles has a chance to go back to the Super Bowl 100%.
Okay. Yeah, man. They definitely can. I mean, you look at the NFC, it's one of those, conference, it's the conference where, I mean, you look at the AFC is very top heavy. Um, like we all know pretty much every year the teams that are gonna be, representing the AFC in the playoffs. I mean, Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, maybe the Bengals. That's iffy. But usually it's those teams, right? And then you get to the NFC, it's a little bit more, it's a little bit more spread out, but at the same time, it's like you still have like I think Philly is still the cream of the crop here. Detroit, they lost pieces, yes. But Aiden Hutchinson is going to be playing healthy this year now. So that'll be a huge boost to them. But again, you lost coaches and things like that. Those things matter. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds for them. But yeah, I definitely think the Eagles have a chance to go back, for sure. But like you said, the Rams, bro, the Rams are one of my sleeper teams. Not even, I won't even say they're a sleeper. I mean, to me, they're a team that definitely I think can win the NFC West for sure. I look at the NFC West, man. I don't think there is a better team than the Rams. Not the Cardinals. The 49ers are just kind of out. They missed their window.
Mhm.
The Seahawks, can go kind of either way. I think the Rams division to lose. So
The only thing that scares me about the Rams is Matthew Stafford's injury.
yeah, yeah,
Because if he's injured, their offense is not the same with Matt Stafford. I'll tell you that 100%. Yeah, you can have Puka. Yeah, you can have Devontae Adams. That can make calling the plays easier for short intermediate routes. But we all know at some point in the game, Sean McVay's going to want to take a deep ball. So if they can have a guy that can push down the field, do I think Stetson Bennett is capable of winning a couple of games, maybe 3 to 4 games, and then Matthew Stafford can come back? Of course. But starting him a full season, I don't think he's capable of doing that. Simply put.
yeah. No, yeah, that's definitely a good point. And Stafford, I believe it was his elbow, if I'm not mistaken, that was the injury. Something to keep it on. But I mean, all signs are indicating that he's going to be playing week one against Houston, which will be a very interesting test for both teams, I believe. The Texans last year, um, you know, a little bit of a downgrade from the year before. So for them, they're looking to kind of bounce back. But I definitely think, yeah, it'll be interesting to watch how Matthew Stafford comes out this year for sure. But hey, man, so who's the team to you, man, that like who is your team that you're keeping an eye on this year, that you don't believe like people are kind of talking about the team that you think should you know just hey keep an eye on them. Who do you have a team like that?
I do. I want to say shout out to my boy Cam. The Patriots. The Patriots in my eyes because their defense was already solid. They just needed offensive weapons. So they went out, they got Stephon Diggs. Do I think he's the Stephon Diggs in Buffalo? No. But I do believe he can still get 1,000 yards. Then you drafted a guy like Travion Henderson, who was a home run hitting running back for Ohio State. And we saw throughout that playoff run, they leaned on him and Quinshon Judkins to get the job done. So then you add those two players. You draft Will Campbell. who had an amazing draft speech saying he's willing to die behind his quarterback. And we already know the talent that Drake May. Now that he has some pieces around him, we are going to see how can they how can they revamp their offense because Mike Vrabel is a run first, pass second type of guy. So now that he has the running back core of Ramondre Stevenson, Antonio Gibson, and Travion Henderson, I believe that they can win the game. They can win some games because we all saw the Patriots were in a lot of games last year. They just didn't finish or they couldn't find a way to come back. And so this is my hot take. I believe the Patriots are second in the AFC North. I think that I think that the Dolphins won't be good this year. The Dolphins will not be good this year. So I believe the Jets, we're not even gonna speak on them. So so those teams right there, I truly believe that the AFC East right now it goes Buffalo, New England, Miami, New York Jets.
Okay. Hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. The Patriots, man, that's an interesting pick. They are definitely a team that has some talent, like you said, and I mean Travion Henderson, definitely one of my rookies that I'm keeping an eye on this year. And I believe he's going to make a huge impact on that offense. And look at the receiving core, Stephon Diggs, and those guys there. And I think that it can be solid, and they got Josh McDaniels back as offensive coordinator, who was responsible for a lot of their good offense those years, the Super Bowl years in New England and stuff like that. Granted, different team, but the point being, he's a good offensive play caller. So that's something else to factor into it. And like you said, man, Mike Vrabel, bro, he's a guy like, hey, man, we're going to be physical. We're going to, attack you off the line of scrimmage, man. We're going to run the ball and we're set up that play action, which was so critical when he went on his playoff run to Tennessee with Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, right? So I definitely think we will see a mix of that with the Patriots. So yeah, that's solid pick. New England definitely could, um, you know, surprise a few people there for sure. Drake May going into his second year, it's gonna be huge. So
sure.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I listen. The team for me, I have is the Denver Broncos.
Mm. I was like, somebody got to say it because Denver. Mm. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
man. Look, the Broncos, man. Now, look, they last year, Bo Nix, man, he had a great rookie year. I mean, even like maybe not to his standards, but it still was great rookie year for him. And that defense, man, one of the best defenses in the league, and it was not talked about enough. They led the NFL in sacks, pressures. Guys like Nick Benito, of course, Patrick Surtain, right? Riley Moss, like they got some solid players. On that defense, man, like some really solid players, Jermont Jones, like, and I think yeah, this year that's a team that could definitely make a run in the AFC West behind KC. I really do. So that's my guess hot take. Even though I don't think it's really much of a hot take, but that's um my team has to watch out for is the Denver Broncos.
I like that pick a lot. I like that pick a lot because Patrick Surtain, like it was a video out. Jamar Chase telling Ocho Cinco, they ain't gonna work on Pat, man. Like Ocho Cinco trying to tell him move that they can work on Pat. He was like, that's not gonna work. Like even Cortland Sutton, his teammate was like, Cinco, that's not gonna work. Like if PS2 is you're saying the guy who won the Triple Crown saying a move like that is not gonna work on PS2, and then you let the Denver Broncos draft arguably cornerback one and Jahad Barron from Texas.
Yeah.
So it's what you're just going to give the guys the goods on top of goods because by the end of the season we're going to be talking about Jahad Barron as cornerback one in this draft class, and then you already have arguably the best defensive player in Patrick Surtain. So what they gonna do now?
It's gonna be very hard to move the ball against the Denver Broncos. If their defense stays healthy for most of the year, if not the full year, it's going to be very hard to beat that team. I firmly believe in that. Like I really do. Not something I'll ever think I'd say about the Denver Broncos, considering where they've been, in previous seasons. But now that they're here, they got their franchise quarterback. They got their defense put together. Yeah, for sure. So that moves me to my next kind of question here, man, for you. Um, who is a player for you, man, needs to step it up this year, man? Who is the guy for you, that you believe this is a year like, hey, like, this team needs this player to produce?
The AFC South's golden boy, Trevor Lawrence, because you guys paid him over 200 million.
Yeah.
You guys drafted Brian Thomas. We saw the connection with Brian Thomas. We did. But at times, Trevor Lawrence looked out of it to where we're looking at ourselves like, is this truly a number one overall pick playing like he's supposed to play? Because when we saw Trevor Lawrence from Clemson, I think we could all say he was a generational prospect.
Of course. No doubt.
So then when we have a high expectation for a player like that, we expect him to perform in the field pretty decently. His first year he played good. Then the playoffs happened. After playoffs, he just started stinking it up. Now this year, I believe he has no excuse because you get a guy, Brian Thomas Jr., you can draft Travis Hunter. Then whatever the running back situation between Tank Bigsby and Trevor Etienne, Travis Etienne Jr., whatever that situation is, they'll figure it out. But this offense goes however far you go. So you have to go out because I look at it like this. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't throw for 4,200 yards, throw for 4,000, are we going to look at it as a successful season? Because the Jaguars are going to be playing behind most of the time. Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
So a couple of comeback wins are going to be needed. And who has to lead those comeback wins? The golden boy of the AFC South, Trevor Lawrence.
Couldn't have said it better myself, man. Yeah, you pay a guy that type of money, man. Like he's supposed to produce, man. He's this is a guy that was drafted number one overall, like you said, generational prospect, man. Like listen, and Trevor actually, he played here in Georgia at Carswell High School. Got to see him play there, man. He like ever since then, I knew this dude was gonna be special. Watching him at Clemson, like. Jaguars pick him number one overall. Like you said, now we're here, and it's like, okay, like we kind of regressed, and now you paid him this money. So yeah, they need him to step up big time, especially now, I mean, because you look at the AFC South, man, I mean, yeah, the Texans are their only competition. And the Jaguars, like on paper, really should be able to compete for the division title, but they you know they can't. So,
Who's your player?
honestly, man, like I have a few guys in mind, but just to pick somebody,
There's one on
honestly,
your team.
okay, the team.
No, there's one on your team.
Oh, you said there's one on my team, the
100%.
Falcons.
100%.
Yeah, and, he's not my player, but he definitely does. But I mean, yeah, we can go ahead and talk about him anyway. Yeah, the Kyle Pitts definitely needs to listen. 6'6", 245 versus 4'4", 40. There is no reason that this man should not be dominating every single matchup when he is out on the field. There's no reason, but Kyle Pitts has not done that, like that one good rookie year in 2021, and since then, just it's been inconsistent, lack of effort. The Falcons definitely need him to step up this year for sure. Um,
Yeah.
so
I'll say this. I'll give Kyle Pitts grace. He had Desmond Ritter as a quarterback for a
true,
couple.
that is
I
true.
give him that. But that rookie season that he had with Matt Ryan, an old Matt Ryan, getting over 1,000. Then when you guys signed Kurt, well, what did everybody say? He's gonna what? Enhance Kyle Pitts. Kyle didn't show no effort in half the routes he ran last year. So now this year, Michael Penix's been saying, "Oh, we're gonna get Kyle the ball." So if I don't see Kyle score at least a touchdown the first 3 games, hey, it's gonna be a lot of side eyes for me. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey man, look, you and the whole city of Atlanta, okay? Because like it's and all of a lot of fantasy holders as well, a lot of fantasy players for sure. Because he should be a lock in fantasy every single year. Um, but that's the case. So unfortunately, um, yeah, man, I don't know. Like I don't know, man. It's really sad to see you draft a guy at number 4 overall, a tight end, and a freak of nature. Those don't come around often at that position. So yeah, it just appalls me. But here we are. So I think honestly though, my like the player, well, not say breakout, but the player I need like is Justin Herbert for the Chargers.
Hold on. Hold on. Justin Herbert? What do you mean?
So
Like,
look, now listen, Justin Herbert is a great player, man. All right, he's a fantastic player. However, there you have to you got to step it up, man, when it matters, and like he didn't perform in the playoffs very well. And even in spurts throughout the season, like again, like I said, Justin is a fantastic quarterback. I love Justin Herbert, but I need him to be the Justin Herbert that the Chargers drafted in 2020. I need that Justin Herbert like now. That's the Justin Herbert that we need. The guy that is going to, go out there and just ball and not turn the football over because that's the only way the Chargers are going to win in the future at any point. They have a great defense. Great. Now they got a great head coach in Jim Harbaugh who has definitely changed them. He's definitely I can see a difference in the Chargers like last year, even going to now as opposed to previous years. They finally have a head coach with a vision, a guy who has experience leading championship teams, and now it's time to like drive that car forward, man. And I think it starts with Justin Herbert. So
I at first I was like, hold on. Justin wasn't bad last year,
he wasn't, but
but then as you came along and say when it matters, I truly believe. I truly believe because because here's my thing. People try to compare Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts a lot because there's a lot of conversation of Justin Herbert is more talented. Justin Herbert this, Justin Herbert that. I said, I get that you can say Herbert is more talented. But when it matters the most, who are you going to need? We need a touchdown drive late in that fourth. Who are you going to choose? I'm going to the guy who's outperformed Mahomes twice in his two matchups.
yeah,
So so when it comes to things like that, because in my opinion, CJ Stroud, you can say he outperformed Mahomes last year in their playoff game.
yeah,
And what weapons they had, what weapons CJ Stroud had? Joe Mixon and who else? Because Tank Dell gone because he tore his ACL.
yeah,
Stephon Diggs ACL. So all he had was Nico Collins and Joe Mixon. So when I hear Justin Herbert's name, him and Trevor Lawrence are in the same realm of okay. We see one regress and we see one peaks early in his first two to 3 years, and then now it's like, all right, you you didn't have the stats. Yeah, you guys won a couple games. Yeah, you guys made the playoffs, but when you got to the playoffs, what did you do? Nothing that caught my attention. So I I can agree with you on that because at first I was like Herbert. It was like it's a couple other guys, but then when you start explaining it, hey, I can tip my cap towards that for sure.
yeah, man. Like I said, again, we all know what Justin can do especially when he's healthy. I mean, and there's been times where he's played injured. That game against the Chiefs with the ribs comes to mind for me. I'm sure you remember that game. He was playing with those hurt ribs, but he's a dog. But yeah, he's got to step it up when it matters for sure. If the Chargers are going to go anywhere, like they have a great cast around them. Lad McConkey brought Keenan Allen back. That's going to be huge for them. Hampton, the rookie running back they drafted, like he is going to. I expect him to make an impact from day one. Defensively, they're still solid. So I just think that yeah, Justin Herbert, man, is the key. So.
For sure.
Yeah. So yeah. So, but other than that, man, yeah, that kind of wraps us up here. Unless you just had any last minute notes, man. Any games you're looking forward to in particular as we kick off the NFL this week?
I have one thing to say.
All right.
Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying your time is ticking, but I'm saying this. This is your best chance to win a Super Bowl. 100%. You have no excuses. This is probably arguably the best weapons you're gonna get, the best defense that I've seen. You have Kyle Hamilton, Roquan Smith, all those guys on D line. You told your owner, go sign Jair Alexander, you signed him. You got Nate Wiggins, you got Marlon Humphrey, and you drafted Malachi Starks. That's too much talent for you guys not to win a Super Bowl. So all I'm saying is, Ravens, you got to get past the second round. You got to beat Mahomes. You got to beat Mahomes or Allen. It's either or, because you're going to face one and not two. And you got to make that Super Bowl, and you have to win. That's all I'm going to say. I love Lamar to death. Lamar's probably arguably my favorite quarterback in the NFL. But we gotta hold people accountable in those positions. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, face of the franchise, man. That's what comes with it. Get paid the big bank, and you MVP. Some argue he could have won it last year. I mean, had a solid case for that. But yeah, you got to win again when it matters. Ravens have not been able to do that, so that'll be interesting to see. And they do play the Bills week one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they do play Buffalo week one. So looking forward to that matchup. But yeah, man, other than that, that wraps us up for today's show. We appreciate you coming on, John. And talking some football with us as we get ready to kick off the NFL season tomorrow night with Eagles and Cowboys on NBC. I'm excited, man. And that football is finally back for the NFL. So thank you, man, for coming on.
Appreciate you, man. Go Dogs.
Yeah. See, that's all that I can say, man. 'Cause you know who I roll with. My team, so I can.
Ah,
Hey, there you go, man. That's you guys make sure you subscribe. Check out John's channel, man. The Sports Den podcast. He does a great job over there. Y'all check him out, follow him and stuff. And we will see you next time on Jay Smith Down. I'm gonna have my boy here on a lot this season, so you'll be seeing him more. But yeah, we will see you guys next time.